I still remember the sound. The soft sweep of a broom on a wooden floor. It wasn't a janitor. It was my father, in a suit, on his knees, wiping the steps of our old temple before sunrise. He never explained why. He never needed to. In Japan, we don't ask, why should I clean? We ask, what kind of world do I want to leave behind? And at 72 years old, I'm still guided by those early, quiet mornings. But something changed when I visited my son in California. His home was warm, full of love, but something felt off. Shoes left in a heap, a sink waiting for the weekend, a living room filled with beautiful things, but somehow missing peace. So that night, I didn't lecture. I simply straightened the blanket, wiped the counter, and whispered to the room, "You deserve better." And in the morning, he said, "Dad, it feels better." That's when I realized maybe this way of life I thought was just Japanese could actually be something universal. A quiet rebellion against chaos, a gentle return to care, one clean table at a time. Today, I want to share with you 10 simple habits from Japan.
It feels better.
Not to make your house spotless, but to help your heart feel lighter. Because sometimes the smallest rituals carry the greatest peace. Let's begin. The legacy of cleanliness. A Japanese grandfather's quiet power. I wasn't taught cleanliness through rules. I inherited
My life began
like
in
a
a
family
Japan
heirloom,
very few
passed
remember
not
today.
through words, but
Coming
through
here
presence.
to my son's home,
My
it
name is
shows me
Honda. I'm 72 years old, and I was born in Osaka, Japan. In my earliest memories, I don't see lectures or punishments. I see hands. Quiet hands. My grandmother's hands folding laundry with care, smoothing each wrinkle like she was tucking in the house itself. My grandfather's hands brushing the porch each morning before sunrise, as if greeting the day by honoring the ground beneath his feet. No one ever said, "This is how to live," but I watched it, and in Japan, watching is learning. You see, in my culture, cleanliness is not a task. It's a quiet form of respect for the space you inhabit, for the people you share it with, and for the life you've been given. Years later, when I raise my own children, and now, when I visit my grandchildren in California, I see the difference. Here, cleaning often comes with sighs and eye rolls. It's a chore, something to get through. But for me, cleaning was never about mess. It was about meaning. It's how I show up, even in silence. When I fold a blanket after my grandson naps. When I wipe a counter no one asked me to wipe. When I pick up a crumpled receipt at a park bench. I'm not trying to be tidy. I'm trying to say, I was here, and I cared. That's the legacy I hope to leave behind. Not a perfect house, but a way of living that whispers to the next person, "You matter." And maybe that's what cleanliness really is. Not a spotless floor, but a soft message left behind for someone you may never meet. And it all began, strangely enough, in a little schoolroom in Osaka, where we were the janitors, and the lessons were never written on a chalkboard. We were the janitors, lessons from the school floor. When I was 6 years old, I held a broom that was nearly as tall as me. It was rough in my hands, the bristles worn, but I swept anyway, because that's what we did. Not as punishment, not as a chore, as ritual. In Japanese schools, we didn't have janitors. We were the janitors. Every afternoon, after the final bell, students would push back chairs, grab cloths, sweep the floors, and wipe down blackboards. No one complained. No one said, "Why do I have to clean someone else's mess?" Because from the very start, we were taught. You don't just learn in a place. You care for it. And if you care for it, you clean it. There's something powerful about that. About a room full of children wiping windows together. About a teacher quietly scrubbing the sink alongside a first grader. There was no hierarchy, only shared responsibility and quiet pride. When I moved to the U.S., later in life, I saw a very different pattern. Cleaning was often outsourced, and sometimes even looked down upon, as if dignity belonged only to those who avoid the mop. But I believe the opposite. There is great dignity in cleaning. It says, I am not above this. I am part of this. And that kind of humility stays with you, not just in school, but in life. I've carried that broom in my spirit ever since. In hotel rooms, I leave the bed neater than I found it. In restaurants, I stack the plates when I'm done. Not to impress anyone, but because it's how I was raised. Leave the space better than you found it, even if no one ever sees you do it. And it starts at the very threshold of every Japanese home, where the first lesson in peace begins with a single, quiet gesture. A ritual at the door, why we remove our shoes. In Japan, there's a moment of pause before you enter a home. You stop, you face the door, and you remove your shoes. To many, it seems like a small, practical thing, a way to keep floors clean. But to us, it's much more than that. Taking off your shoes is a ritual, a way of saying, I am leaving the outside world behind. The noise, the rush, the dust of daily life. They stay at the threshold. And what you bring inside is something gentler. In every Japanese home, there's a space called the genkan. It's not just a place for shoes. It's a line between chaos and calm. I remember my grandmother whispering, leave your dirt at the door, not just from your shoes, but from your day. It stayed with me. Even now, at 72, the simple act of removing my shoes helps me breathe slower, helps me arrive, not just in the room, but in the moment. When I visited my son in California,
so
I noticed
the challenge
something.
is simple, just 1%
Shoes were
better
scattered
every
in the
day.
entryway.
All
Mud
right,
tracked
you're
across
on.
the living room. The home was beautiful, but it didn't feel grounded. One evening, I gently gathered the shoes, lined them by the wall. I didn't say a word. The next morning, the kids followed. Not because I told them to, but because they felt the shift. The space was quieter, softer, more respected. That's the thing about rituals. They don't require explanation. They speak a language deeper than words. If you're curious to try this at home, don't overthink it. Start small. Lay down a rug by the door. Place a little shoe rack. Maybe a basket with soft slippers. Create an invitation for your body and mind to slow down. Because sometimes the path to peace starts with something as simple as standing still and slipping off your shoes. And once you're inside, the real magic begins in the smallest, quietest moments of everyday care. The 2-minute reset, micro cleaning for mental peace. Most people think cleaning takes time, hours, a whole Saturday, rubber gloves, harsh chemicals, aching backs. But in my home in Osaka, we didn't clean like that because we didn't need to. We cleaned as we lived. After dinner, we wiped the table. After tea, we rinsed the cups and put them away. Before bed, a quick sweep across the floor. 2 minutes. That's all. But those 2 minutes changed everything. When I visited my grandson in America, his room always looked like a small tornado had passed through. Clothes on the chair, plates under the bed, papers everywhere. He said, Grandpa, I just don't have time to clean, so I gave him a challenge. Every time you leave a room, I said, leave it 1% better than you found it. At first, he laughed, but then he tried, picked up a sock, straightened the pillow, pushed in a chair. After a few days, he looked around his room and said, Grandpa feels nicer, like I can think better. And that's exactly the point. Because tidying isn't just about your space. It's about your state of mind. A cluttered room breeds a cluttered mind. But when your surroundings are calm, your thoughts slow down, your body relaxes, your heart softens, you begin to feel at home, not just in your house, but in your own life. If you want to try this, start small. After cooking, wipe your counter. Put the remote back in the same spot. Fold the blanket when you leave the couch. Make your bed in the morning, not for guests, but as a gift for your future self. No pressure, no perfection, just presence. Because peace doesn't come in a bottle labeled cleaning spray. It comes in the moments we choose to care. Quietly, consistently, lovingly. And sometimes, peace doesn't live in your home at all. It travels with you, quietly tucked in your pocket. A handkerchief in your pocket. Carrying care everywhere. Before I left the house as a child, my mother always checked 3 things. Lunchbox, school bag, handkerchief. Yes, always a handkerchief.
You carry trash in your pocket all day?
It wasn't optional. It wasn't fashionable. It was simply expected. In Japan, a handkerchief isn't just for wiping your hands. It's a quiet promise. Wherever I go, I'll leave things better than I found them. You'll see it all across Japan. A man drying his hands in a public restroom without touching the shared paper towels. A woman gently wiping the sink after using it. A young child cleaning a bench before sitting. It's not done with fanfare. It's not done for praise. It's done because we believe that care, even in small things, matters. When I was in Los Angeles a few years ago, someone saw me use my cloth to dry my hands and asked,
Great
why
job,
not just
everyone.
use paper towels?
Let's get the dust
I
by the
smiled
windows,
and
too.
said,
Okay, Sensei.
because this one I can wash and use again. And it doesn't end up in the ocean. He paused and nodded. Not because I convinced him,
This room is a
but because he
disaster
felt the
zone.
truth
You need to
in
clean it right now.
There's
I don't
something
want to. It's
beautiful
my
about
room.
carrying care with you.
That is not how
It
this
weighs
works.
nothing, costs almost nothing, but it changes the way you move through the world. When you have a handkerchief in your pocket, you're ready to clean up a small
Yeah,
spill,
high five, Dad.
to dry grandchild
It looks
hands,
amazing now.
to smooth out a space for someone else. It's not about being neat. It's about being aware, being kind, being present. So here's a thought. Find a small cloth you like. Fold it neatly. Keep it with you. In your bag, your jacket, your car.
It feels good to finally
Use it
have this
often.
reset, doesn't it, Dad?
Not just for
It
cleanliness,
truly does,
but as a
son.
quiet
These pancakes
reminder
are
that
perfect.
little act of care
We
still
clean the
matters.
places we
Because
belong
in a
to.
world full of
Asai.
noise and rush,
Because
Because we
sometimes
love them.
the softest habits speak the loudest truths. And speaking of little acts of care, what if I told you that in Japan, we carry our trash with us even when there's no trash bin in sight? No trash bins, no trash. The dignity of carrying your waste.
You know,
The first time I visited New York City, it wasn't the skyscrapers that surprised me, or the endless traffic, or the crowds. It was the trash bins on almost every corner. And yet trash still found its way to the ground. In Japan, it's the opposite. We have almost no public trash bins. After a terrorist attack in the 1990s, many
Why
were
am I
removed
keeping
for
this?
safety, and they never really came back. But something interesting happened. We didn't complain. We adapted. People started carrying their trash with them, wrappers, receipts, empty coffee cups, until they got home. Not because anyone enforced it, but because we understood something simple. Public space is shared space, and how we leave it says something about who we are. When I told this to an American friend, he blinked and said, "Wait, you carry trash in your pocket all day?"
Hey,
I smiled and
remember this
replied,
old truck?
"Sometimes, yes,
I haven't seen that
but
in
it's
years.
lighter than change,
So many memories in
and
here.
it feels
but we have to
better
keep
than
going.
leaving it for someone
Have
else."
you used this in the past
There's
year?
dignity in cleaning up after yourself, even when no one's watching. When I go for a walk in the park, I carry a small reusable bag. It
We
weighs
can breathe
nothing,
in here now.
but it holds something bigger than waste. It holds responsibility. And now my granddaughter
Does this
the
still
same.
serve me?
Not because I told her to, but because she saw me do it. That's how habits spread. Not through rules, through example. So if you're heading out today,
Leave a space
park,
better than you
beach,
found it.
cafe, tuck a small bag into your pocket or purse. You may not use it every time, but just carrying it, you'll feel different. More aware, more connected to the world around you. Because in a noisy world, carrying your own trash might be one of the quietest and most powerful ways to say, "Ikare." And that care starts.
Everyone's duty.
Let me show you how in Japan, cleaning is not a punishment for children, but a source of pride, teaching through togetherness. Cleaning is a family bond. In Japan, we don't teach children to clean as punishment. We teach them to clean as pride. I still remember being just 6 years old, gripping a tiny broom with both hands, sweeping the classroom floor with my classmates. We weren't being punished. We weren't in trouble. We were simply taking care of what we shared. There were no janitors, no lectures, just a quiet understanding. If you belong here, you help care for it. We didn't clean because someone told us to. We cleaned because we loved the space and each other. But when I visited my son in America, I noticed something different. His kids were told to clean their rooms, and it always felt like a battle, a list of chores, a source of stress. So one Sunday, I tried something new. I said, let's reset the house together, and then make pancakes. We put on music. We danced a little. We didn't say the word chores. We just moved together. My granddaughter wiped the counters with surprising care. My grandson folded towels like it meant something. We laughed. We cleaned. And afterward, over pancakes,
Walk this gentle
said,
path.
in Japan,
Not a
we
certain.
clean the places we belong to because we love them. They paused, and then they smiled, because now, cleaning had a why. It wasn't about rules. It was about belonging, contribution, togetherness. So, if you want to create peace at home, not just cleanliness, try this. Set a timer for 10 minutes each day. Play your family's favorite song. Let everyone choose one small task. And afterward share a meal, a laugh, or simply sit together in a room that feels just a little more love. Because in those quiet, humble moments, we're not just wiping tables. We're building connections. We're passing on values. We're shaping memories. And maybe years from now, your grandchild will remember folding that towel with you, long after the towel itself is gone. And sometimes, cleaning is about what you do, but about what you're finally willing to let go of. The art of danchari, letting go of what doesn't serve you. A few years ago, I opened a drawer in my house in Osaka and stared into a small chaos.
I'm not trying to be
Old batteries,
tidy.
chopsticks that had lost their repair, receipts from stores that no longer exist, paper clips, dust, and something heavier. Questions I didn't want to answer. Why am I keeping this? When will I ever use it? Why can't I just let it go? That day, I began what we call in Japan, danchari. It's more than decluttering. It's a philosophy, a quiet
Leave the
practice
space
of
better.
clarity. Refuse what you don't need. Release what no longer serves you. Respect the space you live in. I didn't toss things in frustration. I thanked them for what they once were, and then I let them go, one drawer, one shelf, one corner at a time. And something unexpected happened. My house got lighter. But more importantly, so did I. There was more air, more silence, more peace, even more time. Because the less you have to manage, the more energy you have to enjoy what really matters. When I visited my son again in California, I helped him and his wife with their garage. boxes of someday,
A
stacks
cluttered
of
mind.
maybe, a
Your
wall
thoughts
just in
slow
case.
down.
So we asked one simple question. Have you used this in the past year?
A
If
gift
the answer
for your
was no,
future self.
we thanked it and let it go. After just a few hours, they
Always
stood
a
in the garage
handkerchief.
and said, we can breathe in here now. And sometimes that's all we're really looking for. Not a new system, not a perfect closet, just space to breathe. So if your home feels cluttered, start small.
It may seem like a small
Open one
habit,
drawer.
this handkerchief,
Hold one
yet
item.
it speaks volumes
gently
about our
ask,
approach to quality
Does this
and
still
respect.
serve me? Because a home full of things isn't always full of peace. And when your home is quiet, your mind can rest. And that's not just cleanliness. That's freedom. And what if we took that same mindset
Habits
and brought it
spread
into
through
every
example.
public space we entered? Sacred ground, respecting shared spaces everywhere. When I was a teenager, my father said something I didn't understand at the time. Leave a space better than you found it. And
Cleaning
someone
up
will
the
always
house,
be
yeah.
grateful, even if they never
Got
know
the
your
rhythm
name.
now.
I nodded, but I didn't really feel it until I grew older.
Afterward,
Until I
share a
cleaned
meal.
park benches after strangers, wiped public restroom sinks before anyone walked in, stacked trays
Refuse.
in busy cafes just to make the
Release.
space feel less abandoned.
respect.
No one asked me. No one thanked me. But
Finally,
somehow,
we can actually
it
use
always
this space
felt
now.
right.
It feels so
In
much
Japan,
lighter in here.
we don't believe that cleaning is someone else's job. We believe it's everyone's
Does this
duty,
still serve me?
not as a rule, as a quiet form of gratitude. I've
The
seen
act
it everywhere.
itself is
A
sacred.
businessman in a suit picking up trash at a train station. School children scrubbing the hallway floors without being told. Monks sweeping temple steps at dawn. Not because they're dirty, but because the
A
act
mark
itself is
of
sacred.
being human.
It's not about cleanliness. It's about reverence. Imagine if every table we used, every bench we sat on, every sidewalk we walked, was treated like sacred ground. How different would our world feel? When I visit other countries, I don't judge, but I do wonder, what if wiping a table after your meal wasn't just helpful, but a ritual of respect? What if picking up litter wasn't
Showing up
above
even when
or
no
beneath
one is
anyone,
watching.
but simply a mark of being human? What if we all move through life, leaving behind not just less mess, but more meaning? Because every space we touch holds a piece of us, and every act of care, no matter how small, is a message to the world. I was here, and I respected this place. And maybe the greatest legacy we can leave isn't what we built, but how we cared, one clean space at a time. Clean space, clear mind, passing the legacy on. Now, at 72, I understand what my father meant. He wasn't just talking about tidiness. He was talking about legacy. Because every clean table
One
I've left
clean
behind,
space at a
every
time.
bench I've wiped, every space I've quietly respected, was a
The
gift to someone I
smallest
might never meet.
rituals carrying the
silent
greatest
kindness.
peace.
A footprint of care. You see, we don't change the world through grand gestures. We change it through presence, through little habits that whisper
Just
louder
like that.
than words,
Nice
through
and
the spaces
straight.
we touch,
Now the other
and
side.
leave better. Cleanliness
Perfect.
isn't just about dust. It's about dignity, about showing up even when no one is watching, about living in a way that says, I'm part of something bigger than myself. And here's the beautiful truth. You don't need to be strong to start. You don't need to be young. You don't need more time. You just need one quiet moment and the willingness to care. So today I invite you not to clean more, but to live more consciously, to carry a handkerchief, to wipe a surface no one expects you to pause at the door and breathe before stepping in. Because peace isn't something we find. It's something we leave behind. And if this message speaks to you, if you're in a season of life where you're choosing presence over perfection, grace over speed, quiet over clutter, then you're in the right place. Subscribe to Sliver Age Wellness. Every week, we share slow, mindful practices to bring more calm, clarity, and connection into your everyday life. Let's walk this gentle path together. One breath, one habit, one clean space at a time.